All right, so this is my first versus video. So let me know if I should keep doing them and what units you want me to compare. And we got to start off with one of the most controversial comparisons: War God Fen or HK Roy. Let's get right into it. So for equips, HK Roy can run a 6-star physical, 5-star defense, 4-star heal, or a 4-star support at LB7. War God Fen can run a 6-star physical, a 5-star support, a 4-star support, or a 4-star defense at LB7. So, for HK Roy, in his physical slot, you need his true weapon. Like, you just need it. It gives him 50% damage and attack up as the skill. And then the passive gives him 100 arts at the start of quest and 2 arts a second. So, you need it on him. His defense slot is whatever you need for the fight, but most of the time, if you don't really need a defense equip, you're going to be using either Black Trike, Ira's Raid Tracksuit, or Karu's Kimono for the 50 arts on the first use. And then his heal, most of the time it's going to be Blessed Necklace or Relic Force Keratos. And then for if you get him to LB7, his best in slot support is going to be a GC equip named Claris Arc. And you're going to want to put an Arts Up crest on it. And so that would be his best possible equips. They're going to be pretty solid on him. Make him pretty fast, a lot faster than he is regularly. If you don't have his true weapon, missing out on that 100 arts is going to be really bad on HK Roy because all you do with him is super art right away, and then you get his kit. For War God Fen, his physical slot, you're most likely going to want to run True Owen just for a massive damage boost whenever you use his super art. And then for his 5-star support, his true weapon is okay, but I think you could get away with using anything that's going to be 30 arts every 30 seconds for the whole team. That's going to be really good, but my favorite to use on him would probably be Seth Sandy Blossom. Just to give the whole team 50 arts right away, and then 2 arts a second until an extra 50. So effectively, the whole team's getting 100 arts from this one equip. Like, it's crazy. And for his 4-star support, if you're nuking, you should run Dignified Silence. And if you're in a sustain comp, you should be using Fen's Aloha Shores. And then if you do get him to LB7, honestly, I'd still just use the support. There really isn't, unless like you're going to die like in this fight, and then maybe just slot in whatever defense equip is going to help you. But most of the time, you're just going to be using that 4-star support. So overall, honestly, in terms of what they can use in their equips, I would say War God Fen's equip slots are better than HK Roy's. I'm taking those 2 support slots over a 5-star defense and a 4-star heal on my supporting character. You know, since they're both archgeners, they're going to be supporting characters. I want my supporting characters to have support equips. And the defense slot and the heal slot, those are supporting equips, but they're not as supporting as archgenning equips, if you know what I mean. It's just a different kind of support. And then next up, we're going to be comparing their kits. So first off, skill. HK Roy heals his own status ailments. Cool. War God Fen increases his own arts by 50. I'm going to give that one to War God Fen. That archgen's just nice. Most of the time, like, so for this status cleanse, it can only cleanse if you can use it. So when he's frozen or paralyzed or like silenced or fainted, he can't use his skill, so he can't get out of it. So most of the time, you're just going to be healing like a poison or a burn. And I mean, usually if you're getting poisoned or burned, your whole team is, and you just bring an equip that deals with it. But War God Fen increasing his arts by 50, that's just a massive boost. And the skill's going to War God Fen. The art, HK Roy has an 80% chance of inflicting ultimate freeze. Whatever. I do not care. That, like, you use that like once ever in a Water Runes fight. And then War God Fen, for 20 seconds, increase all allies' accuracy and equipment CT by 40%. This is one of the best arts in the game. So this one, again, is going to War God Fen. For True Art, HK Roy, for 30 seconds, increase water allies break power by 100%. War God Fen, 20% super crit, all allies crit rate 100% up, and 4 arts a second for 20 seconds. And this is type A, so it will stack with everybody else in the game except another Fen. And if you are using Dark Fen or OG Fen, you're playing the game wrong. Stop using them. They're ancient. And yeah, like this one, once again, going to War God Fen, you're rarely ever going to be using that Water Allies break power up unless you run like Aristella Orbis. But War God Fen, that's Arch Gen. It's got to take it. And then the Super Arts, HK Roy has a 180,000% multiplier. And for 20 seconds, increase all allies' arts by 7 a second and physical damage by 150%. And this is type B, so kind of unfortunate, but, it's Arch Gen. And then War God Fen, 160,000% multiplier, 40% super crit, and 100% attack up. So this is just going to be damage from War God Fen. So this one, going to HK Roy. This is one of the best super arts in the game out of HK Roy. And also, HK Roy, very unique, has Phantom Bullets. So his Phantom Bullet is going to have a 250,000% multiplier, massive. And it's going to, for 100 seconds, reduce enemies' physical res by 120%. The physical buff and debuff on HK Roy are huge, and they are going to allow any physical unit to do a ton of damage. And the first time you use his Phantom Bullet, it's going to increase all allies' arts by 200. So this is amazing for nukes. And then the second time you use it, it's going to heal all allies' HP by 100%. So it's going to give a full heal. So it's awesome. He is awesome for nuking. And then if the boss nukes back, you can just heal and you're cooling. And now we're going to get into the passives, which also play a role in this nuke. So he has a leader passive. The team will get 50% DR for 30 seconds. They just take half damage for the first 30 seconds of the quest, as long as he's the leader. That's busted. Like, this man in nukes goes crazy. You just use that Phantom Bullet, get everybody to 300 arts, do your little nuke, and then you get 100% HP and a 50% DR. He's going to go crazy. And then if his HP is above 80%, he's going to get 4 arts a second. That's amazing. It shouldn't be that hard to keep him healthy, especially if you're running him on a mono water with Shiro. And then he also has 80% paralysis res. I mean, it's just whatever. That's just so random, but I'm here for it. And then War God Fen also has a leader skill, or a leader passive. The team will get 30% DR for 45 seconds. So it's pretty similar to HK Roy's. I would prefer HK Roy's DR over War God Fen's DR just because 50% for 30 seconds is going to make a massive difference. And 30% for 45 seconds is still going to make a massive difference. But, in those, like if you're using that 50% DR for 30 seconds, you can get away without using a defense equip. And then with War God Fen's 30%, that's just one defense equip. Like, it's okay. It's still awesome. It's great. If you have him, he should always be the leader just because you're getting this. His best passive, in my opinion, is all allies arts 50 up at start of quest. It's just going to make everything so much faster. And then he has damage 30% to enemy with less than 50% HP. So he's going to be doing a little bit more damage to a boss that has half health. And then for their team comps, HK Roy is going to work extremely well on any physical team comp. And he has some diabolical partners on Mono Water like Hoka, Shiro, and Sanosuke. I would say that is probably the best Mono Water comp right now is going to be HK Roy, Hoka, Shiro, and Sanosuke. Just because Sanosuke is going to be like the best damage dealer in the game currently. Especially with Hoka and HK Roy with their 7 arts a second each. You're going to be able to get him stacking like crazy. So, yeah. And then, unfortunately, he doesn't work that well on any non-physical teams, but he's probably the best physical support in the game. And then War God Fen is going to speed up any team he's a part of. He has crit buffs. He has Arch Gen that stacks with everybody except another Fen, which you shouldn't be using anyways. He speeds up equips, and that 50 arts at the start of the quest is going to speed up everything so much. And especially if you're running him with like a Gench Pench or Seth Sandy Blossom, giving the whole team 100 arts right away. And then you use his skill, he's at 150. You throw on maybe like a physical equip that's going to give him 50 more, or somebody else has a support equip, give him 50 more. You get his true art immediately. And then for his 4-star support, you got Dignified Silence. Pop that right as you use his true art. And boom, whole team's getting 150 arts just from War God Fen. Okay, and then next up is going to be the cons of these units. So we've spent the rest of the video hyping them up, but what are their cons? Like, what's bad about them? HK Roy, he's slow without the perfect build. If you have the perfect build, he's pretty fast and he's very easy to use. But most people aren't going to have the perfect build. Most people aren't going to have that defense equip that gives 50 arts and that GC equip that's going to give like 60 arts. Yeah, most people don't have those. So he is going to be a little bit slow for a lot of people, and you're going to need to help him. And you need to start with a super art or a phantom bullet. So him being slow is very unfortunate for him. He is also a type B archgener, but in my opinion, he's probably the best type B archgener. So it's not really that big of a deal because you're not going to be wanting to use anybody over him. But I mean, Islid is up there, but HK Roy is better, let's be honest. And he is not nearly as good on a magical comp. If you put him on a magical comp, you are doomed to fail. Not actually, because he's still giving 700 arts a second, 200 arts up, 100% heal, 50% DR, but his buff and debuff are doing nothing on that comp. So it's kind of just unfortunate that he's not doing as much on a magic comp. And then War God Fen. I'm going to be honest, he does not have a single con. There is not a single thing I can think of that like is bad about this unit. Not a single one. He has his own Archgen type. He has a crit buff instead of a debuff. Maybe that's it. So on his super art, he has another crit buff. Those aren't going to stack. So his crit buff on his true art is so good because it carries through stages. Like most units like him have a crit debuff where you're going to debuff and then you kill that stage, you go on to the next one, they're not debuffed. You have to reset the debuff. But with War God Fen, he has a buff, so it persists through the stages. And that is amazing, and it makes the game so much faster. But with his super art having another crit buff, it doesn't actually do anything. I would much rather have it have a crit debuff. So then if the boss has 100% crit res, you get the crit buff from the true art and a crit debuff off the super art. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works. So maybe that's his con, is he has 2 crit buffs that don't stack. But yeah, that's about it. There's not much to complain about. This man is like he's one of the best units in the game. He's probably number 2. So who is better? For new players, without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, War God Fen is 100% the way to go. HK Roy is just too slow without the perfect build for a new player. And War God Fen is going to be speeding up every single fight you're in. For veterans, HK Roy will allow you to do some otherwise impossible things. Like with his 50% DR passively and his 200 arts up on that Phantom Bullet, nuking with HK Roy lets you do some absurd things. But I'm still taking War God Fen for how much he speeds up the game. This man will make the game go zzz. It's so fast. It's absurd. I love using War God Fen. I cannot wait until he is in the Forever Summon pool. I'm hoping everybody gets him and everybody will have War God Fen. He is going to be that staple unit like of the game. Everybody will have War God Fen, and if you're running multis, somebody joins, they got War God Fen, cool. That works. Awesome. He works on every team. He is his Archgen stacks with everybody. He's just speeding up everything. I love him. He's so good. In my opinion, he is the number 2 unit in the game, and HK Roy is the number 3 unit in the game. Number 1, obviously Hoko, just because bro is disgusting. But yeah, that's it for this video. So let me know what you guys think. In the comments below, I will have a way to vote for who you think is better, and I want to see what the community thinks. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet, but it's probably just going to be 2 pinned comments. One that says HK Roy, one that says War God Fen, and then you just like whichever one you want to vote for. But if I can find a way to do a poll in the comments, I'll do that. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Let me know who you think is better, HK Roy or War God Fen. But yeah, see ya.